Laure Prouvost, we're here in your studio in East London. Feels like we're in one of your installations, and it kind of sits really nicely with the first question that I prepared for you, which is about your films and installations and how they both work together.
Firstly, I work on the videos, and I sort of create this sort of narrative, where fiction and reality gets really tangled, and I think the idea of us being here in it, almost you're sort of, no, it's real. Look, you're here with me. It's a real story, and we're really in it. And so it's sort of blurring was a thing we usually hold on. I think this idea of differencing what's fictional to what's really happening to someone. And I quite like to question this, and how maybe fiction become more real, or they last longer, and like even books or narrative, if it could exist for much longer. Like characters in books there's almost more memories of them in the future. In some ways, there's more picture of them than us. When we die, we die. So I quite like this idea of blending with two, and I think bringing object like this. Butter here, it's like saying, no, look, it's not just a fiction, it's here, it's with us. And so I think that's how I extended the video in the space in some ways. So it's like, they're not props, they're more like relics, like, almost religious. This is here.
How do you, because there are moments in some of your works where you do reference your personal history quite specifically. Why do you do that, and how does that fit in?
Often, there's the grandparents, my granddad, and I think it's, in some ways, I get influenced by whatever sort of touch me or come around me. So I think my granddad, my granddad from France, he really likes bums, and it's always like, Laure, you need a bigger one, and you come in this entrance, and there's a woman with big boobs welcoming you as a painting. So you're like, so there's a bit of, and then there's also, I used to assist John Latham, and this sort of idea of the conceptual grandfather. So it's using the personal for a bigger picture, I guess. Usually I have a concept, like now I'm working on how to make money religiously, so I'm like, it's going to be this film about, you're going to start thinking, more you watch it, more you feel rich. Like, wow, you feel really rich at the end of the film, but rich in every sense. But at the beginning, I've got no idea of how it's going to visually and sound and stuff. I don't know how it will really happen. It's while I'm editing and I'm bringing images, and the moment I've recorded the sound and I try new narrative, it's really like a collage that I'm painting and taking off layers and adding layers, and so it really grows. But there's no plan at the beginning. There's no sort of, I don't have this sort of set shot I need.
And then your sound pieces, which are again monologues quite similar to the videos, how do you see those as functioning?
But in some ways, it's quite a different way of working there, because I think it's more still using my voice. I use the voice because I find it a practical tool. I'm there, I can record it, and I know how I want it to sound, maybe. But I think there it's more this idea of you visualizing something, so the audience is creating what it should look, so everyone has his own vision of what the sound is saying. So it's really, it's talking about, it's letting you imagining a three-dimensional thing. So I'm interested in, I'm losing control of the vision, but I'm suggesting something, and everyone creates his own vision. So that happens, and I think, I quite like this idea. You propose, but then you're losing control over how it's perceived or seen. It's more also this impossibility. Like video as well, it's this impossibility of communicating. It's a flat thing that's talking to you, but it's virtual. It's not the real thing. It's not like we're talking together. And so it's this impossibility, the frustration of this impossibility, and the signs are talking about them being unable to be what they are, sort of. So the same with, in some way, most of they do talk about an ability to really communicate, or can be just hinting stuff. Yeah, I think I grew up in quite, even if the parents were really open-minded, there's still this idea of a certain lifestyle and a way of doing something right, and I think I find it very frustrating, this sort of norm and sort of breaking the norm, and what's the norm and where does it. But then also words. It's like I hated words before. I was really bad at French, really bad at English, and I just always felt frustrated. I could not use them well or articulate myself. And I think making films and doing art for me was a way to question them, firstly. I think so. I question the words a lot. So there's always this, what do they mean? Do they really... I don't know, it's very, I don't know what we're holding on them all the time, and at the same time I use them all the time because they provoke the imagination. You can create visions with words, and so it's a complex thing I'm struggling with in some ways, but they always, the mistranslation and translation of an emotion into a sound or into a vision or into, it's in large sense, I guess. It's not just translation of French, English and words to words, but more, how do you translate articulate something you can't really understand yourself, or